Have you ever wondered if your most vivid dreams or those strange coincidences in your day might be more than just chance? What if I told you that there is a version of you, in another reality, trying to communicate? Today, we're going to explore a truth that could transform the way you see your experiences and your very existence. Imagine discovering that the synchronicities you encounter have a greater purpose, a hidden message coming from a parallel you, trying to guide your path. Are you ready to unravel this mysterious connection and understand what it might mean for your journey? Then get ready. What comes next could change everything. Welcome to a new perspective that goes beyond what we learn in everyday life and challenges our most common notions. Have you ever heard of parallel universes? This idea, which seemed to belong only to science fiction, is gaining ground in conversations that blend spirituality and science. Imagine that your essence, that same consciousness that is here now, could have ramifications in other realities, where different choices and unique experiences are being lived by versions of yourself. It's not just a fancy theory. It's a concept that touches the core of the human journey, of the quest to understand who we really are. Thinking about the existence of parallel versions may seem like a leap away from reality, but think for a moment about how your life unfolds through the decisions you make. With every yes or no, a new possibility is opened up, like a tree growing in different directions. Now imagine that these directions actually exist, not just in potential, but as concrete realities that run parallel to your own experience. This is where the fascinating idea that these parallel versions can communicate with you comes in, especially if you are one of those sensitive people, a chosen one capable of sensing beyond what the eye can see and the ear can hear. For many, realizing the possibility that an alternative version might try to make contact can seem like an exciting call, but it can also be a little disconcerting. After all, how do you know if it's really happening? Is this communication intuitive, like that sudden feeling of déjà vu? Or does it manifest itself more intensely, like a dream that seems more real than waking life itself? It is at this point that the concept of synchronicity and the subtle signs of the universe begin to make more sense, and the world around you can become a mosaic of messages and meanings. The idea of parallel versions is not just rooted in philosophical or esoteric theories. There is a scientific component too. Some branches of physics, such as string theory and studies of multiple universes, suggest that different realities can coexist. If we think about energy and how it permeates everything, from our thoughts to the matter around us, we can understand how communication between these universes is possible. Wouldn't it be surprising if, in moments of intense introspection or in heightened states of meditation, you could catch a glimpse of another version of yourself, acting and responding according to a different reality? Understanding what it means to have a parallel version leads us to question the origin of many of our perceptions and intuitions. Could that idea you suddenly have, that unexpected solution to a problem, be a whisper from another version of you? If we are open to this possibility, our perception of ourselves and of life can expand in ways we never imagined. But to begin to understand if and how this communication takes place, we need to be aware of the signs that we often ignore. Now that you have an idea of what it means to have a parallel version and how it can be more than a theoretical curiosity, let's delve into the signs that can indicate that this communication is taking place. These signs can appear in subtle or more striking forms, but they always have something in common: a feeling of familiarity or surprise that awakens our attention. It's as if the universe were whispering, using seemingly random events to convey a message. One of the most common signs is the feeling of déjà vu, that instant when you have the vivid impression of having lived through a situation before, even though you know it's impossible. This experience, often dismissed as a quirk of the mind, can be a glimpse of a parallel life momentarily overlapping with your current consciousness. Think about how disconcerting this sensation can be, as if a door opened for a second and you saw a mirrored reality. It may be your version of another reality's way of signaling its presence and drawing your attention to something important. Another sign that shouldn't be ignored is synchronicity. Those coincidences that seem so significant that you feel something beyond the ordinary is at play. Imagine you're thinking about a new life project, something you've always wanted to try. and suddenly you start seeing references to it everywhere. A random conversation in the supermarket queue, a book that falls off a shelf with a special message, or even a dream where you see yourself living this possibility. These events can be seen as a way for another version of you to send you stimuli and validate your decisions. Dreams are fertile ground for messages from parallel versions. When we sleep, our conscious mind relaxes and creates a bridge to other dimensions of our being. Dreams that seem intensely real, where you live a completely different life, could be a manifestation of a version of you interacting with you. It's as if during sleep, the barrier between worlds becomes thin enough to allow an exchange of experiences. If you've ever woken up feeling like you'd had such an authentic experience that you couldn't shake it off throughout the day, it may have been a moment of connection with a parallel version of you. There are also moments of heightened intuition, when an idea or thought comes out of nowhere, accompanied by an inexplicable certainty. This sensation could be the echo of another version of you, facing challenges or experiencing situations that somehow touch on your current reality. Perhaps this version has discovered something that you are still searching for, and intuition is a way of sharing this discovery. These perceptions are often subtle, but the more you practice mindfulness and cultivate inner silence, the easier it becomes to perceive and trust these signs. Understanding these signals and recognizing them as possible forms of communication is the first step towards opening up space for this connection. And this sensitivity, once awakened, can expand to other areas of your life, making every detail a valuable clue. But do dreams play an even more important role in this process? Let's take a closer look at how the language of dreams can serve as a portal for this interaction. Dreams have fascinated humanity since time immemorial, considered both divine messages and remnants of the subconscious. But what if I told you that, beyond these interpretations, dreams can be a real bridge between you and your parallel versions? When we sleep, the barriers of the conscious mind loosen, allowing us to connect with dimensions and realities that are beyond our daily understanding. In this state, the unconscious is free to explore territories that we often ignore while awake. Have you ever had a dream in which you lived a totally different life, with details so precise that it seemed more real than any fantasy? Perhaps you experienced intense emotions or visited places you never physically knew but which were somehow familiar. These dreams are not mere creations of the mind. They can be encounters with parallel realities where another version of you lives and thrives. And when we wake up, often with a trace of longing or strangeness, it's as if a part of us wants to keep that connection alive. Dream interpretation can help decode these messages. If in your dreams you often see yourself facing dilemmas or making important decisions, it may be that your parallel version is going through challenges that are echoed in your own life. This reflection, sometimes literal and sometimes symbolic, is an opportunity for mutual learning. Perhaps the wisdom acquired by a version in a different world can seep into your conscious mind, helping you to find creative solutions and insights to complex issues in your current reality. There are certain dream patterns that are more revealing. Dreaming that you are looking in the mirror and see a different reflection, or that you speak to someone who in some way resembles you, but has another life, can be a direct interaction with this version. Figures who act as guides in your dreams, providing advice and paths, can also represent these parallel versions, conveying messages to you in a symbolic way. The important thing is to be aware of these figures and try to remember the emotions and details surrounding these experiences when you wake up. To increase your ability to capture and interpret these messages, practices such as keeping a dream diary are fundamental. Writing down the details as soon as you wake up helps firm up your memory and allows you to notice patterns over time. Over time, analyzing these notes can reveal recurring themes and elements that correspond to signs of contact with a version of you in another dimension. And when we start to pay more attention, the universe responds by extending these connections. Perhaps now is the time to start understanding how these events interact with the waking world and how the signs can go beyond dreams, echoing in synchronicities that we experience on a daily basis. Synchronicities are events that at first glance seem like ordinary coincidences, but which carry such a profound meaning that they make us stop and reflect. They don't follow the laws of traditional causality, and for this reason, Many consider them to be encrypted messages, signs from the universe, or perhaps an attempt to contact parallel versions of you. When you start to notice these synchronicities, it's as if a veil is lifted, revealing that reality is more interconnected and complex than we imagine. Think of that time you were in doubt about an important decision and suddenly heard a phrase on the radio that seemed to answer your question, or found a book that contained exactly the guidance you needed. These purposeful coincidences are the hallmark of synchronicities. They can be considered bridges between parallel realities, where other versions of you may be trying to communicate, using the fabric of reality as a channel to send messages. For many chosen ones, paying attention to these synchronicities is like learning a new language, where symbols and moments are as important as words. If a version of you in another reality has learned a valuable lesson or had a revelation, it may try to signal this to you through synchronicities. These moments are like pieces of a puzzle that, when put together, reveal a clearer and more aligned path to follow. If you still have doubts about how to recognize synchronicities, start by observing the patterns around you. Perhaps you'll notice repeated numbers, such as 1111 or 2222, which appear in moments of reflection. Or maybe you'll meet people who, out of the blue, share experiences that resonate with what you're experiencing, as if they had a mission to give you a new perspective. The key is to stay present and attentive, noticing when something repeatedly catches your eye or seems to be more than just a coincidence. The practice of recording these synchronicities in a diary or even on a cell phone notepad can help you see how constant these messages are in your life. Over time, you may notice that certain patterns emerge, guiding you to a deeper understanding of yourself and your other versions. And this openness to the unexpected creates the perfect space to cultivate a state of receptivity, where communication with other realities can become even more fluid. So how can we further strengthen this communication channel to better understand what our other versions want to convey to us? Now that you recognize the signs of communication, from vivid dreams to synchronicities, it's time to understand how to strengthen this channel so that the exchange with your parallel versions becomes clearer and more conscious. It's not something that requires supernatural abilities. In fact, it's a process that anyone can develop with simple, intentional practices. For the chosen ones, who are more sensitive and intuitive, these practices can be even more impactful and transformative. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for accessing expanded states of consciousness. When you meditate, you enter a state of deep relaxation, where the barriers between the conscious and the unconscious begin to dissipate. In these moments, it's easier to pick up messages and sensations that come from other realities. Try practicing a guided meditation that focuses on visualizations of portals or encounters with versions of yourself in different scenarios. Let your mind be free to explore these inner landscapes without judgment. Over time, you'll notice greater clarity in the images and feelings that arise. Another valuable practice is intuitive writing. Take a notebook and, in a quiet moment, write down questions you'd like to ask your parallel version. Then take a deep breath, relax, and allow the answers to flow onto the page without thinking too much. This technique helps to silence the rational mind and allows more subtle information to manifest. At first, you may feel like you're making up the answers, but with practice, you'll realize that the content has a depth and meaning that may surprise you. In addition, visualization practices can intensify this connection. Visualize a line of golden light connecting you to a version of yourself in another reality. This line is a channel through which messages and energies can flow. Feel this connection as a gentle vibration that travels through your body, bringing with it intuitions, images, and emotions. The more you repeat this practice, the more the feeling of connection will become familiar, and you may experience unexpected insights, such as ideas that seem to come out of the blue and answers to complex questions. Music can also be a catalyst for this contact. Some sound frequencies, known as solfeggio frequencies, have the power to harmonize the mind and body, making it easier to open up to more subtle perceptions. Listen to these songs during your meditations or before going to sleep to increase the chance of receiving messages in your dreams. Choose sounds that resonate with you, that bring peace and help raise your vibration. When these practices are combined, They create an environment of receptivity that strengthens your ability to communicate with other versions of yourself. This requires patience and regularity, but over time, you will begin to recognize the subtle changes in your intuition and the way you perceive the world around you. Now, it's also important to protect this connection to ensure that it is always positive and beneficial. Strengthening communication with your parallel versions can be a fascinating and enriching experience, but it also requires care. When we open our mind and energy to different dimensions, it is essential to ensure that this interaction is safe and positive. Protecting your energy helps maintain the quality of the messages you receive, ensuring that they come from an authentic source that is aligned with your highest good. The first step towards this protection is to create an anchoring ritual before any meditation, visualization, or intuitive writing practice. Visualize roots coming out of the soles of your feet and penetrating deep into the earth, connecting you with the solid, protective energy of the planet. This visualization not only helps to keep you grounded, but also creates a base of security that prevents unwanted influences from entering. Repeat affirmations to yourself such as, "I am protected and guided by my own light," or "Only energies of love and truth can connect with me." Another indispensable practice is energy cleansing. Just as we cleanse our physical body, we need to cleanse our energy regularly. Incense, such as white sage or Palo Santo, can help dispel dense vibrations and create an environment conducive to positive interactions. Taking a bath in coarse salt is also an effective way of purifying the aura, removing any energy that might hinder the clarity of your perceptions. This cleansing is especially important if you start to feel excessively tired or confused after a connection practice. Visualizing a protective light around you is another powerful technique. Imagine a sphere of golden light surrounding your entire body, acting as a shield. This sphere allows only high-vibration energies to enter your personal space, keeping negative external influences at bay. Over time, this practice becomes a habit that you can quickly activate in any situation, including day-to-day life, when you feel your energy is being drained by challenging people or environments. Keeping your vibration high also contributes to safe and fruitful communication with your parallel versions. This can be done through activities that bring you joy and peace, such as walking in nature, listening to music you love, or practicing gratitude on a daily basis. The higher your frequency, the easier it will be to distinguish positive messages and avoid unwanted interference. Remember, protecting your energy is not just a precaution, it's an act of self-care. When you take care of your energy field, you create a safe space for interactions with other realities to be rich and enlightening. This opens the way for contact with your parallel versions to be an experience of growth and discovery, enriching your journey with learnings that transcend the limits of time and space. And with this protection in place, you'll be ready to make the most of the potential of all your dimensions. And so, together we explore the depths of a reality that goes beyond what our senses can grasp. Parallel versions, synchronicities, and the language of dreams are reminders that our existence is vaster and richer than we can imagine. Opening up to this connection, with awareness and protection, can transform your journey and reveal answers you didn't even know you were looking for. Remember, you have the power to connect, grow, and discover new paths through this bridge between realities. If this content resonated with you and brought you new perspectives, be sure to support our collective spiritual journey. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment on your own experiences, and share this video with those who, like you, are looking for more depth in their lives. Thank you for being here until the end. May your light shine even brighter.